Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It is TheTranspondster here with you today, and I am back in The Sims 4 with yet another speed build for you. We are back to working on builds for my save file, so this build that we're working on right now is actually in Brindleton Bay. So I have built one home in Brindleton Bay already, and it was a rebuild of the Delgado house. So I do have a Maine Cape Cod kind of style going for this world. I am building over in Sable Square this time, so it is a different neighborhood in this world, and I do have a slightly different style plan for it, like I do for all the other worlds in this game. Each neighborhood's gonna have a slightly different feel to it, as though you're walking around real life neighborhoods. So, where we're building right now is going to be themed after kind of South Portland, Maine, and it's still got a very similar feel to it. Lots of siding and kind of interesting roofing is one thing that I've noticed. This seems to be not the most well off area in Maine, but also not the lowest income, so I kind of gave them a mid tier home. I did decorate this home before I created the family for it, so I kind of gave them a storyline with the way that I built. I decided who the household living here would be. I have intentions for it to be a single mom with her toddler son. I want to say that my theory for her is that she's widowed. So there is no messy breakup or divorce, kind of a tragic story instead. And so now she's just making the best of what she has. I feel like she maybe moved out of that home that she shared with her past husband and started a new life here in a slightly smaller home that she could manage a little easier with just herself. And I think that it's kind of a neat start point, honestly. It gives me some, if you're a long time player and you played The Sims 2, some Brandy Broke vibes. Although Brandy Broke, I feel, is doing some under the table stuff to make her means for her boys. I feel like the sim that's going to be living here is going to be far more innocent than that. I get the impression that Brandy Broke is using some base metal mods, if you know what I mean. And if you don't, then maybe you shouldn't know what I mean, and we'll leave it at that. I like the way that the floor plan of this house turned out. It's very open feeling downstairs, but very cozy upstairs. And to be honest, you don't need a lot of space in the bedrooms. You're just sleeping there. And I really like the light wood flooring that I got throughout this home. It kind of gives it a coastal feel a little bit, and it makes you feel like you're closer to the beach than you are. I used a lot of light colors in this build, a lot of blues and whites. So I like how it turned out. It's not necessarily my decor style. I don't think I'd particularly like living in a home like this, but I wouldn't mind for like a little vacation for an Airbnb type of thing. This would be an alright place for me to stay and feel comfortable enough that it's quaint and cozy. I like it. I didn't know what to do with that weird corner where I couldn't get the wallpaper to match with the roofing on the outside. I hate that that's how it defaults in the game, but I ended up just putting an angled wall and I called it a day. I lost a little bit of bedroom space, but I think I can sacrifice that for the aesthetic. And then I also built a makeshift garage over here just because I am going for a more realistic feel in this game. I also, now watching this as I do the voiceover, am realizing that I could have easily put the laundry in the garage. Instead, I kind of rearranged the kitchen decor and floor plan a little tiny bit just so that I could get the laundry in, because that is something I'm trying to be aware of, and I didn't want to have to make this sim have to go to a laundromat or anything like that. So we got it in the kitchen, not to worry, but it most certainly could have gone in the garage, which ends up being just like a little hobby area. I get a woodworking table out there and a punching bag, and I just kind of decorate it like it's storage, because I feel like that's what one uses a garage for, especially when there are no cars in the game, and that's what you have to use the garage for. I cannot get enough of the Home Chef Hustle kitchen. I swear it's going to be in every single build that I put out now, just because I love it so much. I did want to make this an eat-in kitchen, but I did lack the space a little bit, so it ends up being just a two-person seat, technically three, but because I have a toddler living in this home, I do end up putting a high chair there at some point. As I was mentioning the laundry, it is the china cabinet that I end up swapping out for the laundry machines, and I think it ends up being okay because you have the full size cabinetry on the opposite wall from there, so it's not like the kitchen lost a whole bunch of storage or anything like that. And I do have two bathrooms in this home. One bathroom is upstairs and it's an ensuite, so I did make sure that I got a shower tub combo in the other bathroom, just because I like to have like the option to have a bath or a shower in my game, but also I don't just want a bathtub because showers are so much faster for like actual gameplay and functionality. Even in real life, like, I have no bathtub and it kind of sucks, but to be honest, I'm more a shower person because going in the bathroom and washing myself is technically a chore for me. It's not something that I look forward to in my day unless it's a particularly long and hot day, I guess. But I mean, it's not one of those things I'm like, yes, I have to go shower now. I would much rather be sitting there watching my trash TV or playing The Sims or eating some good food. Like, there are other things in life I'd rather be doing, is all I mean by that. I promise you, I'm not a dirty person. I do take showers. I liked decorating this home a little bit cluttered, but not too crazy. It has that lived in feel for sure. I love the pile of mail at the front door. It's so accurate. I always, no matter how hard I try to keep it clean, I have a pile of mail at my front door all the time. Mail and like diapers right now. Perks of having a baby. I did again go on the gallery looking for some custom art. I haven't been lucking out lately in finding the vibe that I'm going for. So if anyone has some good recommendations on gallery creators that put out custom art, if you don't know what custom art is, it is totally base game for you to have in your game too. It's just art that people put on the gallery. They upload it as a room, but basically they have their sim do a painting by reference. So sometimes it's something in the game already. Most often it's CC that someone has downloaded into their game that they're having their sim paint. So the painting itself ends up being base game. I did get a lot of, I guess not a lot, but I did get some toys in the living room. I feel like it's more homey that way and more organic to if people were actually living here and we were basing this off of reality more than gameplay. I feel like kids' toys get sprawled out all over the house, so it makes sense that you maybe have a toy chest tucked off to the side in your living room or some blocks laying out on the floor, because kids are messy no matter what age they are, no matter how small they are. So I love how lived in this home feels, to be honest. I feel like it's not super cluttered either. I could be wrong. Maybe my computer just handles it pretty well, but I feel like this isn't an amount of clutter that's going to make your game lag. though I could be wrong, so I'm sorry if I am. One thing that did disappoint me is that I had to put the potty in the like toddler's room because I couldn't fit it in either of the bathrooms. So that's one minor hiccup in this home, is that it was a little bit too small. But I did get the little toddler slide that comes with the toddler stuff pack in here, which makes me pretty happy. I might have actually, now that I think about it, I might have used the growing together slide, but either one would work if you have either of those packs. I feel like most people would have growing together, just because I always, when like I didn't buy all the packs myself, I do now, that that's how I choose to spend my money. But when I was growing up and I didn't have that luxury of having all the packs, I feel like I prioritized getting the bigger, more worth it packs than all the small stuff packs. So I'm assuming that growing together is the more popular of the two. So that's the pack that I would recommend anyways, if you were hoping to get just the toddler slide, because obviously you're going to get way more stuff in growing together. I will admit, though, I think that I might have a slightly biased opinion here because I am very much a family game player. So a lot of my gameplay revolves around the nice, happy family and kids packs like toddler stuff and kids room stuff, and then growing together, parenthood. Those are all right up my alley. So if that's not your gameplay style, then maybe I don't recommend either. Like, I'm not an occult player, so I would never recommend vampires or werewolves, but you might. I honestly think the hardest part of this build was picking the nightstand. I feel like none of them match, and I was looking at nightstands for what felt like forever. And then I moved over, and the mirrors weren't working for me, but I got one of those much quicker. I did hang up these string lights, even though they feel a little bit more teeny than grown up adult. I thought it was a cute touch in the room. Like, maybe this mom is just hanging on to her childhood a little bit, or now that she's single and on her own, she has some more freedom in her decor choice, and she's just doing something that makes her happy. I did cozy up the room with some clutter too. I made it feel lived in. I hung a robe on the wall. The sim, I planned for her to wear glasses, so I threw some glasses on the nightstand. And then maybe she doesn't have time to stay on top of the laundry all the time, so it's piling up a little bit in her room. But you know what? At least she's on top of getting her son's laundry clean, so good mom right there. It's okay if some things slide as long as your little one's happy. And then I kind of thought it was funny to myself as I put the candle next to the toilet paper on the back of that toilet. Like, what if your Sims could death by toilet paper? Like, it's so cheesy. I wish they'd add some more quirky deaths in the game. I feel like that's something we've been lacking in some more recent packs. I know we got the death by mold, but I want some more additions in the gameplay. Not that I use a lot of it. We're just kind of easing back into gameplay now. I've been so focused on building for the last couple years that so many packs have come out since I've actually played through the game, that it's an entirely new game when it comes to gameplay. But I low key love it because it makes me feel like I'm getting my money's worth. Because right now, we're gonna do some girl math here. This game is free when I do gameplay because I didn't buy that at any point recently. That's been collected over time, and now it is some well earned fun. Here I am doing that laundry switcheroo that I've mentioned a few times. I do like how it ended up turning out, and I feel like laundry in the kitchen does make sense, but I feel like it would be a little bit annoying having to lug all your clothes downstairs when the bedrooms are all upstairs. But I feel like it's also realistic because most homes that I've lived, like, laundry is not on the same floor as the bedroom. So Yeah, I feel like it's fitting. Usually it's in a basement. I don't build a whole lot of basements in The Sims just because I don't like the gameplay of being down in the basement. So I feel like it's not as pleasant to be down in this dark blackness surrounding your four walls. But maybe it's something I should focus on doing more because I feel like adding the staircases down to basements would make floor plans feel more realistic, at least in my opinion, based on where I live. I feel like a lot of homes in the United States and Canada in general would have a basement, but correct me if I'm wrong if it's not common for basements where you live. Like, I wonder if in Europe basements are sort of a weird thing. I can't picture the traditional European streets to have homes that would have basements in them, but maybe that's just naive thinking of myself. I think it's cute that I threw a bike into the garage as well. I didn't put a kid's bike just because it is a toddler sim living here, so I felt like that's something that you can naturally add into the game as you're playing gameplay. And then I really love the curb appeal of this home at the front, how I have like the driveway but with the curved path coming off of it. And then I use some of these debug um landscaping outlines, I guess. They're like garden beds, but I merge two together and I cover all the parts that they overlap. So you don't even see all those random bits in the middle. But I love how it turned out with the stone around the edge, creating this curved garden bed in front. I think it's so cute. And then I just filled in the rest of the surrounding area with the same plants that I used in that front bit to make it blend in. I didn't do anything too crazy. I stuck with white and yellow for the flowers, and then any large, bulky spaces I just filled in with trees. I feel like that's my go to when I've got a lot of lands left around the house that I'm building. If it were a community lot, I'd probably slot a park in there, but I don't know if I want to commit to having a full on park attached to my Sims home lot. Maybe it would be good for functionality as like your Sims family grows and the kids are aging. I feel like having a playground right beside your home would be really good for all the motor skill focused life aspirations when it comes to child Sims. So I guess it's not the worst idea to put a playground attached to your home lot. Maybe it's something that I could do next time I've got an overly large lot for a not so overly large house. But yeah, I do use these stones a fair bit. They're from the base game in the debug category. I will leave on the screen how to get to the debug menu. I use Better Build by Twisted Mexis. It's a mod for my game, so I can easily turn that on in the area where you would sort by pack, but it's not hard to type in a couple cheats, especially when I've planned them there for you on the screen to just pause and copy along. Honestly, this one back corner of the backyard was the hardest to landscape just because I wanted a bush that filled it in nice, and I particularly wanted something with some flowers on it, but I feel like a lot of the tall bushes in the game are honestly just the pea bushes, and it wasn't really the vibe I was going for here. I didn't want my Sims to be walking out in their backyard to go use a bush when they gotta do their business, you know? I want to keep things somewhat classy, even though we're living on a budget now as a single parent. Just going through and doing some outdoor lighting, and then I'll be popping inside to do any interior lights that I kind of didn't focus on as I went. It's mostly the hanging ceiling lights, just so that I match the lights to the vibe of the rest of the furniture and I'm not kind of going in blind based on some light fixtures at the beginning. But anyway, that is the end of this build, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. I am still having so much fun here on YouTube with you guys, just making content. It isn't even about this really going anywhere for myself. It's all about the fun that I'm having doing it and how passionate I am about The Sims. So thank you as usual for being here. It makes me so happy to see that I've got this little community growing. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to have the best rest of your day. And thanks again. Bye, guys.